We've been waiting too long since the second week of February to say welcome to the new all-time high, both on the S&P 500 and on the NASDAQ 100. Yes, we got to the fourth all-time high in the S&P 500 during this week. We're going to talk about that. We're going to cover all the other news. And I have a very interesting announcement on something that we've never done on our English-speaking channel. So let's directly dive in. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'll move here. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel if you're new. Hello, my name is Micha. On this channel, we talk about... Up to this week, we talked about stocks, and we did weekly summaries. These were all, of course, not financial advice, only education and entertainment purpose only. And from this week, I'm going to start uploading a lot more AI-generated videos, which I create. All of them are going to be in English, and they're going to be here on the channel. You can see several already have been posted. So if you're new, it would be amazing if you can subscribe to the channel and, of course, turn notifications on. Yes, we've been waiting since February 19th was the last all-time high. And there's a saying that says an all-time high creates an all-time high, creates an all-time high. And it took us almost 4 months to get back to the all-time high. Actually, 4 months and a week. We are now at the fourth all-time high on the S&P 500. During the week, the NASDAQ 100 also went into all-time high territory. This is how the major averages looked like. The NASDAQ for the week is up 4.2%. All of this after the ceasefire between Israel and Iran. And trade negotiations, or actually trade agreements that were agreed upon with China and the advancements with the EU. Dow Jones up 3.8 for the week. The S&P up 3.4. Russell up 3% for the week. The great... NVIDIA up almost 10% for the week. It broke out and got into all-time high territory, very close to being the first $4 trillion company. We might see this week NVIDIA $4 trillion, a 4-day trading week, and 4th of July, everything in 1 week. Broadcom up 7% for the week. Meta up 7.5%. All the rest, you can see them there. Indices, communication outperformed, then technology and consumer staples. On the flip side, we got energy, which dropped on Monday due to the ceasefire between Israel and Iran and the fact that the Hormuz Straits were not closed. This is the crypto market. Didn't outperform this week, although it was a risk-on week. Bitcoin up only 3.5% for the week, and Ethereum up 3.7% for the week. The major crash was on crude oil, down 11.9%. Again, the ceasefire didn't work very well for that. And now, an interesting development on this channel. On my Hebrew-speaking channel, every 6 months or every year, we do a Wisdom of Crowd. We upload a form. The viewers can submit a ticker. I count the tickers that appeared from the most amount of times till the least amount of times, and we create a demo portfolio of 20 tickers. Of course, not financial advice. It's random, totally random, Wisdom of Crowd. This week, the same thing is going to happen here on this channel. There's going to be, I'm going to combine, by the way, the forms are going to be combined, but I'm going to upload a form. Tomorrow, I'm going to post, or tomorrow, the day after, I'm going to post a specific video on that, and you will be able to post your ticker. Write your ticker inside, and then it will be combined in a portfolio, and we will start following up on it on these weekly summaries. If you want to know if it works, this is the performance of the H1 portfolio for the Wisdom of Crowd, and it outperformed the S&P by almost 6%, 600 percentage points, which means that it got to 11.7% for the week. It's very volatile. The stocks are mainly retail focused, but they won. So, you can't complain. It's going to happen probably tomorrow, the day after. Turn notifications on. Let's dive into the news. Google is tapping, OpenAI is tapping Google's TPUs instead of NVIDIA's GPUs because they want to reduce their cost. Very interesting development. Does that mean that NVIDIA is going to fall because of that? I'm not sure. What it does mean is there's a lot of demand for power. This is the video that you can see all day long if you're a Tesla investor. A day before the target, Tesla, this is the Austin factory. This is a Model Y getting out of the factory after being produced and driving by itself. As you can see, the car is empty. Nobody there. Driving by itself. Guess to who? To Jose from Austin. He is the first customer ever in the world that got a self-driving delivery car. So this car drives by itself. There's no one inside. It drove all the way in Austin, Texas to Jose. You can see him here getting the car exactly as planned. This was a regular day. No, they didn't close the streets for that or anything like that. During the week, of course, Tesla ran a week of robo-taxi rides for friends and family, people that got invitations. This is Jose getting his car. An amazing achievement. Hopefully, we'll get a lot more of these deliveries. So after they stopped having, they never had a car dealership. Now they might not even have anyone give you your car. The car will drive directly to yourself. A very, very exciting video. And congrats to the person that got the first video. This is Scott Bessett and his counterpart in China, and the U.S. has agreed with China to a trade agreement. The tariffs on China would be 30%. The tariffs of U.S. goods China will put on U.S. goods will be 10%. And hopefully, if this stands, this is a great development. We got PCE this Friday. It came in as expected. PCE is 92% CPI and PPI. So there's not a lot of new things that might happen, but it does push the Fed to lower rates. Talking about lower rates, a person that keeps pushing the Fed to lower rates is President Trump. He also says that the trade deadline for July 9 is not that critical. If you remember, he gave 90-day pause for the tariffs. That, of course, brought the stock market up. Palantir and the nuclear company partnered to launch the platform. Palantir helping the nuclear company. Meta is securing a lot of energy for their AI efforts, and also they're probably going to raise around $28 billion from private investors to invest in further in AI. Novo Nordisk is rolling out their weight loss drug in India. Same for Eli Lilly. DoorDash is delivering through drones and not through people. This will, of course, enable them to deliver more and faster. A lot of Fed speak this week, split between let's reduce rates to let's not reduce rates. Nothing new. AT&T is figuring out and finding out that fiber is fiber's maintenance is lower by 35% than regular copper, and they want to fast-paced fiber installation in the US. Congrats to Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. Both got married yesterday or the day before in France. And they are, of course, there were a lot of protests against it and all that. But the reason why it's here is not because we're celebrating pop culture. It's because Jeffrey Bezos called twice this month, Donald Trump, urging him to let Blue Origin, Jeffrey Bezos' inspirational space company, to launch something for the US government. Zuckerberg is tapping in 3 OpenAI researchers. If you remember last week, I talked about the huge signing bonus of $100 million. They got it, each one of them probably. NVIDIA says that there's a multi-trillion-dollar chance or opportunity in robots and autonomous. You know what's an autonomous car that drives by itself and is like a robot on wheels? And who's the company that has that? Yeah, you saw that earlier, that Tesla. And the company that was on stage with them was a small company which saw its stock skyrocket by 500%. And then they, of course, raised capital through that. The company is CYNGN, Siegen, or something like that. Very, very interesting. NATO summit this week. Trump comes out there as Daddy Trump, gets higher defense spending from NATO countries, which means that American companies, defense companies, that's the word I was missing. American defense companies will get more contracts. And if we're talking about contracts, we're going to talk in a second about the British signing with Lockheed Martin. Spain is probing Novo Nordisk on their ads. Pony AI is surged this week because they were included in the NASDAQ Golden Dragon. They might be acquired by Uber eventually. Here's what I wanted to show you. United Kingdom ordered 12 Lockheed Martin F-35As. QuantumScape got to a milestone. QuantumScape is a startup company that wants to revolutionize electric vehicle batteries in order to charge them a lot faster. Uber, or actually Google, Waymo, is signing with Uber. So anytime a customer would like to order a Waymo in Atlanta, they can do it through Uber app. If you got confused, that's fine. Basically, you can open an Uber app and order a Waymo. That's the easiest way to explain. And this is the difference between Waymo and Tesla. And why am I showing that? Because as of this week in Austin, Texas, there are multiple robo-taxis that are in the streets, and you can, in theory, in the future, you will be able to order them. Tesla car is a regular Tesla car. A Waymo car, it has LiDAR, has special infra, has special radars, has cameras, and Tesla doesn't. And they do the same thing. Which car would you buy? $150,000 or a $40,000 car? And last but not least, New York. And no, sorry, it's not last but not least. There's still. New York is going to build one of the first U.S. nuclear power plants in this generation. It's going to take a lot of time, but everyone needs electricity. Donald Trump is sick and tired of Canada, and he says, we're stopping the trade talks with you guys. You're not serious. We're going to tell you how much tariffs we're going to put on you, and that's it. CoreWeave is reportedly in discussions to acquire Core Scientifics, and the reason for that is because they have GPUs, and everyone wants GPUs. And last but not least, Mark Benioff says that 30 to 50% of companies' workload is being done today by AI. This is crazy, but it makes sense. Okay, let's talk about the events this week. Only Thursday, we get non-farm payroll. Beside that, 4th of July, no trading. That's Friday. So it's going to be a long weekend. We're going to talk about wisdom of crowd during that time, probably. No more earnings. Next week, we're not the week coming, but the week after, I assume the banks are going to start by end of that week to report. So basically, we're back in reporting season. And we end, as always, with the chart of the S&P 500. And as you can see, we are at all-time high. Do you remember this fall? Do you remember how everyone felt crappy? Look where we are right now. Not only did all the money come back, actually, your portfolio probably grew from the highest point it was if you acted with your brain and not with your feelings. So where can we go from now? First of all, we have several gaps underneath us. That doesn't mean we're going to close them, or at least close them this week, but it does create that tension between going up and correcting down. When you look at the chart without any drawings on it, you can see that basically we kind of held between 59 to 6,000 here, and then we launched further. Too many fund managers, and we've talked about it, are offside. They're not heavily invested. They're actually underinvested, both on the dollar and on US equities. And if they will start buying stocks, this, of course, will mean that we will see a face-ripping rally, if I use Tom Lee's words. And we should say that Tom Lee was probably the only one who predicted this happening, the V-shape and the face ripping. So what are the levels you should be aware of? Let's talk about 6,000, around that. That will close this gap. This will happen after we break 61.47 if we do to the downside. And if we go up to the upside, we might get to 6,300. Remember that July is supposed to be a strong month. We're going to probably talk about it next week. So not financial advice, always protect yourself, but it seems like the market is back in better shape and a lot more fearless. That's also a problem because everyone feels it, but because of all the people in the all the money that's in the sidelines, 7.3 trillion or something like that, and the underweight, this might be very, very interesting. Till next time, I'm Micha Stocks. Watch the AI videos. They're in English. This is the TV now. Till next time. Bye-bye.